This podcast is sponsored by SciSpot, the best tech stack for modern biotech.
When people ask me for advice, when they should start, when they should jump in and start their own company, I say sooner the better, right? Because as you grow old or older, there are more dependencies, right? It becomes harder. You have more commitments in different directions. So sooner the better, and you will never be ready, right? If you're waiting to be completely ready to start a business, there's no such thing, right? You have to jump in and learn while doing things. You cannot just read a book and be completely ready. So from undergrad, that's really inspiring because especially in biotech, people feel like they have to do PhD or even postdoc to start something, to even have decent lab or access to resources. So how was that journey? So in undergrad, you made a decision to start a company. Then how do you access, let's say, lab space, capital, access to co-founders, team, equipment, bioreactors, or strains? I don't know, so many different things. What are those pieces you have to bring together to really realize this dream of starting and scaling a company?
Very good question, and a lot of components to that. I think we figured out a lot of that stuff on our own, basically, where it's you use your network and your friends, and you ask around, you ask your profs, you ask your all the universities for space or for resources that they might have, let me think about what started that off. I think because we did the Indie Bio program, and that was a good start, and that gave us initial capital to at least pay a bit of our own salaries essentially at the time, or living expenses. It wasn't even a real salary. It was, we just covered paying rent, and that was fine. But once we raised our first seed round, I think we managed to raise about 500,000 US after that initial program, and that's the capital that we used towards equipment and things. But to find those equipment, I think it was a very different journey then than it is now.
Right.
And that's one of the biggest and most interesting things about being a mentor to a few startups these days is that there are actually universities have programs for supporting biotech startups, or or they're willing to share more of their equipment and encourage more of that kind of startup activity, because it is supportive of the student body and what students want to do in general. And that's and it's actually also supportive of a lot of even basic research, where it's how do you, because people always wonder where do you go with your research after you've done it, and what happens afterwards. And this is a journey that a lot of people now understand, but I think initially it was way harder to understand maybe how research becomes a product.